Hey folks, yeah, that's right. This is Matt. We're mixing it up tonight. I'm introducing the show. We are in the wonderful Columbus, Ohio, the middle city, the glorious capital of Ohio. We are here with Brett and Bryan, our proud dads from Street Fight Radio, and we're getting ready to do a show here. We're very excited. We hope everybody comes out for it.
Columbus Legends, Brett Payne and Bryan Quinby.
Columbus Legends everywhere except for in Columbus.
Yeah, most people here don't know what we're up to. I don't know. But thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
You guys are like how Anvil was always huge in Japan and they didn't even know it.
That's my dream, is to get huge somewhere that's not America.
Yeah.
I would love to be the biggest act in the Islamic State.
That would, okay.
Quick preface, should this audio ever actually make it to air, just know that I am working the levels on the Zoom mic for
Will
the first time
Menaker on
ever.
the ones and twos.
So, as always, if you don't like the audio, email Virgil. He loves emails. He told us how to do levels, even though he's not here.
And a little bit later, you'll be hearing something I know you all love.
Oh, live content.
A clip from our Pittsburgh show
Yeah,
just
that's
last
right, you
night.
little hoglets.
Now, before you complain, just know that this is not a whole live show. This is the second act of our live show in Pittsburgh last night. And it was honestly the most epic Rod Dreher reading series that we've ever done on the show.
Yes.
I mean, I almost don't want to give too much away, but I will just say this is Rod Dreher's The Exorcist.
It's phenomenal.
And if you guys are good, you give it a shot, you give it its fair shake, and you enjoy it, you're nice to us, we'll give you what you want, which is all the live shows unedited, including sound checks.
But
be good.
I must stress, we are not going to do the Dreher content at any of the other live shows from here on out. So if we don't give it to you on here, you're not going to hear it.
It will be lost forever, like
and it really deserves to be heard.
Rod's tears in the rain.
It deserves to be heard.
But yeah, we're here in the living room of Bryan Quinby.
Hi. Yeah, I brought you guys to my house and my big table, my big gross table.
The basement right now is completely filthy, so there's not enough room for us to be down there. We just make a path through the boxes and to record each night. So
I was just wondering, when you guys are chilling down there, do you ever do the podcast while sitting on beanbag chairs filled with kratom?
We do pee in holes down there. No, there is, when you go down, if you get to go down there in the studio this week, there is a table down there that is green, like with kratom powder all over it. It's crazy. Yeah. When we first started streaming our show on video, we would set kilos of kratom up on the table next to us so people can see how much kratom we have down there. Is kratom and CBD. We're legal drug dealers, and we're only going to get to do this for probably another 2 or 3 months before the gravy train ends.
When I was in LA, I drank this huge like CBD water thing, and I don't know if it's like just my low tolerance to weed, or if I'm a pussy, or if it's just something with brain chemistry, but it like kind of got me high in this very enjoyable way.
It is
not like destroyed or anything, but like you have this like mild buzz, and I was thinking about how cool it would be to get addicted to just CBD, not even weed.
Somebody recently was on Twitter, and they were like, they DM me, and they're like, Bryan, I'm listening to your back catalog, and I'm listening to a show where you can't stop talking shit about how CBD is fake, and now you sell it. I'm like, well, I've had a change of heart since then.
Well, the first time you tried it, you walked into some smoke shop on campus and had some like gum or something, and you were like, the guy said, now I can't get high. I can't get high for the rest of the day.
That's why I was mad about that.
Yeah, no, that's, people have gotten mad about me for this plan. They're, with medical marijuana and just retail marijuana available now, people are afraid, of course, of kids using it. So I've begun dosing water in school districts with CBD. So the kids, they can illegally take that legal marijuana, but they won't get high. No one's thanked me.
No more ADD medication.
Yeah, they'll just be chill.
I just went to my daughter's middle school. My daughter is in 7th grade. And I went to her school to drop something off earlier today, and I walked by, and I was like, this is so Ohio. They have a Narcan kit in the front of the store, and I'm like, God damn, are these kids doing heroin in the middle school? Shit.
Well, it's Ohio.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's Ohio.
It is. It is. Well, those cops have done that thing now where, like, if a cop gets, like, food poisoning or something, they're like, I think somebody sent me mail with a little bit of fentanyl in it, and I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I love when cops are like, that's like the tier above abortion survivor. It's like being like, I was in the same room as fentanyl. It's like, it's not like you don't just instantly die if you touch it.
No, we had a police force here that claimed there was flyers put on their cars and they had been dipped in fentanyl so that when the cops touched them, they would overdose.
That's all. then they put Pepsi in our car, knowing that there was aborted fetus parts in there. And they give us apples with razor blades.
The fentanyl thing is wild. We have a new one of the ballot measures in Ohio this time is issue 1, and it's treatment for drug offenses, no jail time for drug offenses. And there's a dark money PAC now that's putting out these memes that say, if issue 1 passes, a person that's walking around with enough fentanyl to kill 10,000 people would not go to jail. It's like, what the fuck? Where did you get that number?
I love that. I love like
10,000 people or 400 elephants.
God, that fucking pack is probably funded by private prison companies.
Pretty
100%.
sure.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I know. I saw it. And
Ugh.
it's just
It's the police, too.
it's the
all of
FOP too.
them.
Probably.
Awful.
Yeah.
God.
Ohio's Columbus's cops are like now becoming the one that people say when they say there's corruption, and it's like they just arrested they arrested Stormy Daniels.
Yes,
That was so crooked.
Yes. And now the Vice Squad. So they arrested Stormy Daniels, and then about a month later, the cops shot a woman who was like a sex worker.
That was insane.
that story was fucking chilling.
That story was. Is that guy even charged, or what is going on?
No, but now the Vice Squad is they say the Vice Squad is on hold.
It was an it
Right
was an out of uniform cop who just shot a woman trying to push her into a car.
Yes.
Yeah, well,
basically,
he
he's trying to kidnap her. Or
He
something.
had her in the car, and then apparently he parked next to the wall of a building so that if she tried to open the door, she wasn't going to get out of the car. So she bit him, and then he shot her like 8 times or something.
Is there at least? Are they like maybe gonna fucking charge him?
No, they're not.
No, I think he got out.
Oh my
He's
God.
already off.
Yeah, he got off. They said that they actually said she stabbed him, and that's why he got off.
Fucking hell!
They don't bust nobody gets in trouble here. The guy that just shot Tamir Rice in Cleveland
Got a new fucking
just got a new job in a rural place. Like you just they don't get busted. I mean, they don't get busted anywhere though. It's not like New York and L.A. or any of those
That's
places
true.
like have done it.
Yeah, that's why when they fucking convicted Van Dyke, that was like, holy shit! I can't believe it actually happened.
I couldn't believe that because in Chicago we had like a special operations division in CBD, and it was basically just the Shield. They were doing the Shield. Like they would just fucking extort drug dealers and rob them of their packs and then sell them.
Well, didn't they have
And it's like no one really went to jail. It was just like, all right, all right, fine, we won't have the Shield unit anymore. Are you happy?
You're not going to get any of these gripping dramas anymore.
So slightly not as serious, but Brian, your cousin got in a little trouble with the law recently.
Yeah, you should find. I'm Murder Brian on Twitter. You got to find this thing and the Street Fight WCRS page. But he posted something about a state rep who was an enormous piece of shit. This state rep is a guy who said. So a couple weeks ago, a little 11-year-old girl was at Kroger and she got tased for shoplifting. And the creepiest thing, the cop was saying, "See, honey, I don't want to do this. You made me tase you." But anyway,
An adult man tasing an 11-year-old girl.
Yeah, for shoplifting $58 worth of stuff. And
Shooting her with a taser and then apologize, saying, "Honey, I'm doing this for your betterment."
yeah. I mean, I can't imagine if you're a cop. Like this gets said so much on every podcast and on Twitter all day. But like, if a cop can't deal with an 11-year-old girl, then maybe they just don't need to be a cop. But so this state rep in some backwoods ass county in Ohio said, well, maybe she deserved it. You know, like if my kid got shot, I would look inward and see like what how I failed as a parent, and maybe these parents should see how they failed when their kids get shot.
Yeah, and if they get tased or shot, maybe they were just acting like a punk.
So my cousin posted something that was roughly like, I wish someone would kill this guy. How am I supposed to believe in the government? And then he got arrested. The guy bragging on his Facebook page about getting him arrested, and they charged him with a felony. And
free speech is very important
to the Republic. It's very important to right-wing people.
It's the only thing they care about, really, if you ask them.
Well, they're using his Facebook page as sort of they've said things about leftist stuff on his face. We can't talk about it a ton, but like he has stuff on his like leftist like imagery on his Facebook page, and of course he works for us. So I think he had some street fight stuff on his page, and they're using that to say he's like a radical leftist,
he's
like
Antifa.
Terrorist. Yeah, it's
He's
great.
he's Black Bloc.
Yeah.
Black Guerrilla Family Block.
But the good thing about our job is when I contacted a lawyer, I talked to a person that's a lawyer and was like, you know, should Brett and I shut up about this? And he was like, you should check with their lawyer. But the first thing I said, I told him what happened. And the first thing he said was, he got arrested? And I was like, yeah. He's like, isn't that like good for your brand? I mean, I guess so, but I don't want a guy to go to jail.
I mean, like, if we're going to make the thing of like, it's a death threat to say, I would like it if someone like fuck that guy. Like, then you just wipe out like 3/4 of the good things online.
That's all I do is hope someone dies all day.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it or I'll pace. I'm saying like I would enjoy if that happened. That's not a threat.
Well, yeah, and it's a guy with like maybe 100 friends on Facebook. It's like he's not some influential guy that's like out there saying like, "Let me get my minions to go kill this person." It was just one of those. I feel like it was just the dude saw that thing and he felt so hopeless, and then that's what came out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the thing about it is that Jake does work with those kids. Jake works with at-risk and homeless youth. And so it came from like a very passionate place and was obviously a terrible idea. But he's not facing a felony anymore. They knocked down the felony.
That's good.
He's in misdemeanor territory.
Don't take our lead.
Yeah.
We're just really lucky. And you, like the regular guy who has to pay for like LinkedIn Premium, so you know, it's a fucking rough world out there.
Yeah.
And just say it in a text to your mom. Scream it on the Xbox message. The person who killed you on COD. I mean, fucking hit a heavy bag. Get one of those punchy bags that's a clown that you put water in the bottom and it comes back up, and pretend that's all your enemies. Don't take a risk by being epic on Twitter. That's our job. We'll take the risk.
I want to do the new George Carlin thing on your show real quick.
Yeah.
Kill, death, shoot, stab. The 7 dirty words.
New dirty
Please
words
don't
is
say
anything
it.
that might be construed
Kill,
as a
death,
threat.
shoot, stab, fight,
Yeah.
murder. There you go.
I want to talk about another outrageous miscarriage of justice that's currently going on. We're in Columbus, but this is a New York story. And I was reminded of it again today. This is from New York One from just a couple of days ago. Headline: Transit-obsessed Queens man will not be released back into community. The story says here, ever since he was a teenager in Queens, Darius McCollum has been in trouble with the law, always for stealing subway trains and buses. And the story goes on, and it is basically about this guy who I regard to be something of a folk hero in New York City.
Absolutely. I even heard about this guy before I moved there.
And it's what it sounds like. He's a guy who, since his entire life has been deeply obsessed with trains. He was stabbed as a kid by a classmate, and he was very soothed by trains as part of his recovery. And ever since he was about a teenager, he has been basically, commandeering. And he was driving an actual train, like a C train, at 15, not hired by the MTA, but was covering for an MTA employee who wanted to spend time with his girlfriend.
That's cool, though.
Wow,
yeah, this is perfect for us because this is anarchism, right? Isn't this what we talk about on our show?
Kid fucking loves these things. Just let him get behind the wheel.
He's been arrested for more than 30 times for taking them on joyrides, subways, and buses. I disagree with the writing. It's not a joyride.
You can't take a joyride
around, right?
He picks people up on these buses. He does the actual routes.
He's not even being paid. He just loves transit.
And it says now 53 years old. He was in Brooklyn Supreme Court on Friday hoping a judge would give him a measure of freedom and let him live in a supervised group home. Instead, he was committed to a secure adult psychiatric center, which is like a Bedlam-style horror show for sure.
The man just wants to drive the train.
Yeah,
It
give
just
him a
said,
job.
Brooklyn Supreme Court Justice Ruth Schillingford, who would not agree to be seen on camera, sided with prosecutors who argued that McCollum is, quote, dangerously mentally ill.
That
What
you know,
the
this
fuck
is
did
why.
he do?
This is why, like, you can't ever vote for a prosecutor for any political office.
Yeah.
This is like a wonderful, like, whimsical man who's actually helping the community and has this amazing interest in this thing that the city and state let fall into total disrepair. And this fucking law school dickhead, just this joyless fucking husk, is like, no, let's just put him in a cage for however much time. This, like, just this wonderful, whimsical guy. They are sociopaths. Prosecutors are fucking sociopaths.
They're going to break him of
100.
that habit, right?
It says, this is the first incident. It said in 1980, at the age of 15, Darius was arrested when he drove an in-service E-train. He was covering the MTA employee's shift so that the employee could visit his girlfriend. A passenger grew concerned when she saw young Darius sitting alone in the operator's cab. The train was stopped and Darius was arrested. The news of the young subway bandit was sensational. Through all of it, Darius never revealed to the authorities he was working for the MTA employee.
Oh, he's a real
How is he a bandit? How is he? He's like a bandit in the way, like a guy sees a pie cooling on the windowsill and finds a quicker way to cool it.
He didn't
even tell.
Yeah, he didn't tell. That is fucking cool.
That's
He was,
hard body.
That's a comrade, is what they call them.
Oh, no, I
right?
just stole this thing.
yeah.
So he returned to school, but then he was labeled a truant, and his failure to reform resulted in his confinement in a mental hospital. It was there that he was given heavy doses of antipsychotic medication, and he was diagnosed with depression and psychosis, blah, blah, blah. Within days of his release from the hospital, Darius returned to the subway. His MTA friends were so pleased that he had not revealed their complicit activity that they welcomed him back into the fold. His return to the transit world was a violation of his probation, and he was sent to jail.
No.
So in 1989, of course, he was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, but he has, like, by all accounts, a savant-like understanding of the New York City transit system, both buses and subways.
Yes.
It's the type of dude that, like, you feel like this is. See, I know our job doesn't exist in 1980, but in 1980, a guy could just get in a train and just drive, and the people that work for the train are like, oh, that's pretty whimsical. It's nice what this guy's doing, and I wish we could pull that off, because that guy should just be a character in his part of New York.
I mean, you should give him a job at the MTA.
Yeah,
That's
he should
true.
just be an
That's true.
employee. I mean, this sounds like a great position. You're taking somebody, and instead of utilizing their magnificent skill, you're putting them in a cage.
People hate any type of greatness. People try to
That's true.
suppress
They're
any
haters.
type of true greatness.
For the past 40 years, Darius has been in and out of jail for charges involving transportation. He has never been arrested for a crime of violence. He has never injured anyone. He has been banned from all MTA rail yards, bus depots, and other official offices. Jesus. In one of his many efforts to find employment, Darius volunteered at the New York City Transit Museum, a job he loved, but he was fired when his boss ultimately realized his identity.
Oh, that's bullshit. That fucking sucks.
Oh, this guy who
He didn't-
loves and understands these things more than I ever could.
That's
God.
awful.
That's fucking tragic.
Are you ready
dude.
for the most insane part of this story? Following 9/11, Darius volunteered his knowledge and skill to make the New York City subway system safe. Darius led a team of federal agents, New York City intelligence detectives, and New York State police through the subway system, identifying locations where intruders were able to enter without being detected. Darius was actually incarcerated at the time. He was taken in shackles from his prison
my
cell
God.
at Rikers Island by a team of federal agents to tour the subway system, assisting law enforcement with their efforts. For his contributions, Darius received no benefit. Instead, the Department of Corrections was notified that Darius was, quote, easily manipulated and a terrorist could gain valuable knowledge from him. As a result, he was placed in solitary confinement.
Can you imagine the fucking fat-necked Guido who is like, I am tactically ascertaining that someone could use this boy's brain to initiate an Islamic-style terror
What
attack
if Osama
on the
bin
M
Laden-
line.
What if Osama bin Laden gained access to Professor X's cerebro machine?
It was really easy though. It was like so easy after 9/11 to just be like, I think this guy's talking to Osama bin Laden. Let's throw him in a fucking hole. You know?
Yeah.
So finally, I mean, the last time he was arrested was in 2015, where he drove a Greyhound bus around New York City, and he was ultimately arrested at gunpoint by 5 New York City police officers.
Fucking pussies.
To get the SWAT team for this guy.
You know where he's going to go. He's just following the route.
But basically, prosecutors have argued that he is a dangerous criminal that needs to be put away for the rest of his life in some horrific mental institution.
Where's the creative thinking here?
There is a GoFundMe going on right now. He is currently incarcerated.
We're putting that shit up.
Yeah, but there is a GoFundMe for his legal defense. I mean, I think this is going to be appealed, hopefully. But I mean, I remember learning about this story a long time ago and just thinking, like, what a folk hero this guy is.
Yeah.
Like the guy who just rides and works the trains. And buses,
I've said this before.
Like,
I've said this before, but if the Emperor Norton were around now, the first time he tried to stroll into a nice fancy restaurant downtown San Francisco, he would have been strangled to death by some thick-necked fucking cop psycho.
Yeah.
In 1 week. They would not have fucking plaques of him all over the city.
Not just the fucking cop psycho, but like you're the prosecutor. How do you do that? How do you like go into the court and you're like, I want to throw in this like wonderful man who's never hurt any and just helped people.
Has never once committed an act of violence or even put anyone's life in danger through his actions.
Then what do? You go to a bon pain.
Yeah.
Look at your Bumble app. Live the rest of your empty cosmopolitan existence. You ever look in the mirror and wonder what the fuck you're doing with your life? You fuck. Is this what you wanted to do when you went to law school? You
that's
fucking
the thing.
creep.
They all think they're Sam Waterston in Law and Order, fighting the good fight.
We actually just, like last week, there was a story in Ohio about a woman that worked at Giant Eagle, the deli counter at Giant Eagle. And she would eat like 4 to 5 pieces of ham or salami every single day that she worked there. She worked there for 8 years. And the loss prevention people at fucking at Giant Eagle fired her and then pressed felony charges and said she ate $9,800 worth of ham in the time she worked there.
They charged
and now
her
she's
for it.
being charged with grand theft for ham.
How did they?
Wait a minute. So she just like smuggled it piece by. It's like the fucking. It's like the Great Escape, just smuggling lunch meat out of the place in her stomach every single day.
Yeah, she was just, she probably cut it and then just was like, 1 for
Had a
me,
slice,
5 for
yeah,
you. Yeah.
There's all kinds of picky people there. Oh, that's too thick. Oh, that's too thin.
Those are all separate incidents.
Yeah.
That's not one long operation moving the ham from the fucking store to her stomach. It's individual taking of tiny little ham that would be like a Class Z felony or what, or a fucking misdemeanor.
This is just a
They don't add up.
No, they don't. And I'm seeing it like the loss prevention guy is a dick, obviously, and he's the type of dude that would like loss prevention guys, like the yellow Punisher
yellow
skull
line.
kind of guy, But then there's like that went to the cops and then it went to a prosecutor and now they're in court and this is still like going on. This person's been charged with a felony for that.
What a just sick, like sadistic, punitive
Disgusting.
society we
Yeah.
live in.
Really, yeah.
It's so gross.
You live in if you make under like $80,000 a year, you live in an authoritarian society.
Absolutely.
You live under a tyrannical boot if you make under that amount of money in this fucking country.
You are so underrepresented in any kind of government, like democratic structure, that you're effectively disenfranchised, even if you do vote.
Yeah.
And you have no ability to change this at all.
No.
And the only way you see the state is this awful coercive just boot. And of course, no wonder a lot of them end up becoming like InfoWars conspiracy guys, because that makes sense. And like the state as a concept is just this thing that fucks with them. Like I remember that Bundy Ranch guy who killed those cops in Las Vegas. I don't know if anybody remembers this. Him and his girlfriend, who dressed up like the Joker and Harley Quinn on Las Vegas Strip. They shot 2 cops.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, they shot 2 cops at a CC's Pizza and dropped a Gadsden flag on the bodies and then ran into a Walmart, where, by the way, they killed a good guy with a gun. Okay. There was a dude who was there and he was concealed carry. He saw the guy and he thought, oh, active shooter, engage. And he didn't know that the girl was there with him, and she blew him away.
Okay.
And then they ended up dying in a shootout with the cops. This guy, like his life story, I think he's from Ohio, he's from the Midwest. like shitty schools, and then his only encounter with the government was that he kept getting arrested for pot
Yeah.
all the time. And it like fucked his life up and totally like robbed him of his ability to really do anything besides just sort of scrape by. And even when he started getting better at that, something else would happen and he'd get knocked to square one by this. That's the state. So of course it's like controlled by reptile Rothschilds or whatever the fuck.
Well, and the thing that like with the thing about it is that like that's why it makes me crazy when these like rich liberal type people go on Twitter and talk about like these poor people are voting for Donald Trump and stuff, and you're like, they don't vote because who would I vote for? Like if I don't make, if you make $25,000 a year, you don't care who's the president because they all fucking suck.
Exactly. Who gives a shit who's president when if you make $20,000 a year?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
They're trying to leave the house without getting all their assets seized and thrown in a fucking cage for a decade
And
for
some
no
of them,
reason.
a few of them did vote for Trump, and it's like, you want to know why they did? Because ever since he got the nomination till now, the establishment attempt to undermine Trump is to emphasize that he's not one of us.
Yeah.
He's not part of the establishment. And so it's like, yeah, you mean the fucking assholes who make my life shit and like contribute to everything that like makes it hard for me to live?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying he's the opposite of you guys? That he's the total antithesis of everything you are? Is that what you're saying? I might have to give this guy a look.
Yeah.
And you're buying, I mean, they're buying the ham for 50 cents a pound. She's carving it up and selling it for $6 a pound and doesn't have enough fucking money to eat a fucking ham sandwich on her break and borrows a few slices that are going to go in the trash anyways.
Absolutely, they waste half the food.
Yeah.
The food all ends up in the goddamn garbage.
Right.
And
All
locked
those-
dumpsters,
all-
but in locked dumpsters.
fucking dumpsters.
Yes.
An efficient distribution of resources. That's what you get from capitalism.
This is such a Oh my God!
Sorry to bring
we're
you
doing
down.
it again.
This
God
is
damn it,
God.
we keep doing
This
this.
is that Ohio struggle.
We keep having. It's recently we've had more and more of these episodes where we're just talking, and without us knowing it, we're just like slowly walking into an abyss.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's our whole thing now is that we got a call-in show where people say, yeah, my boss is ripping me off and fucking me over. And it's like, oh, well, let's make this funny, guys.
Yeah, let's have a laugh at that. That tragedy's funny.
My idea, like for our Columbus episode, Sans live show was like, let's watch a movie and make fun of it. And like, look, you see why I suggested that? We just talk about anything at all that happens, and it's
Yeah.
like,
I'm
there's
really
no
annoyed.
hope. The human condition is just pure authoritarian misery. You give anyone power at all, they'll
It's
just
90
abuse
degrees in middle October.
Yeah, that's a little disturbing.
I do think also like the weird thing is like you can spend all night, like you're going to spend probably 3 days here and you're barely going to like see things about the police, where like the thing that shocked me the most about getting to New York is when you're about 15 miles out in New Jersey, there's like flags for the police department, there's police graffiti all over the place.
Oh
And
my
it's like
God.
at least the police are up front there,
You know,
because
it's
they
like this-
fucking suck here.
This neighborhood, this is a development. They built this in the 60s. It was originally a blue-collar neighborhood. Now it's a Blue Lives neighborhood.
I would love to be like the Mark Echo of pro-police graffiti.
That would be good money.
Awesome.
I want to be the Banksy of pro
Well,
police
I want to be
graffiti.
the guy that came up with every time a cop gets shot that sells the stickers that says the name of the city and then strong after it. So you just, like, make a fucking shitload of money off it.
My favorite thing about the Blue Lives Matter movement and its propaganda arm, because there's an official Blue Lives Matter fucking Twitter account. I don't know how they got that check mark. Well, they're not official. They're not like an org or anything. It's literally just we're the guys.
The most
Yeah,
passionate.
We're in
came
charge
up
of
with
the
this.
ideology.
We actually had a round robin tournament.
And of course, they posted every time a cop gets shot. They're like, look at this. But then they also post every time a cop dies in the line of duty, which means like, yeah, he was in a donut shop and he fucking choked to death on a crawler.
Yeah, they have like all these cops like accidentally discharging their web. And then sometimes like I think it may be an algorithm because they just post stories of like sickos getting arrested.
Yeah.
But there was one they posted that was like woman arrested for rescuing animals during wildfire. And it's like, what are you saying?
We're
this is
keeping
like
people
a sick
We're people keep it
sicko?
safe.
Like what?
We're keeping the people safe.
It was for her own good.
Well, our idea was Blue Lives Magic.
Yes.
The root.com for cops.
Yes.
I mean, that Blue Lives Matter stuff is so big, like everywhere we traveled. And like the one thing that we noticed when we were on tour through the Midwest was that you never see a Blue Lives Matter flag or anything on a shitty car. It's always
no.
on like a
Never.
$60,000
Absolutely.
fucking pickup truck.
That's the classic tweet, Felix tweet from during the Black Lives Matter protests when he says, "I don't understand why they have to riot," says man. Well, cops put his groceries in his Porsche Cayenne.
Yeah, that's every guy with like a new SUV or something is like, he's like, no, all you have to do is show cops that you respect them and they respect you and it's wonderful and they're my best friends. And it's just like, it's like, yeah, you're like a rich white guy who smiled at them. You
Like,
fucking
you're
idiot.
why they
talk
do
about-
that. You're why they do their job.
They talk about cops
literally
the way,
protecting you specifically.
They talk about cops the way people like give advice to people like hiking about bears. You know,
Yes.
like as long as you just don't show any fear. And,
It's like, yeah, guys are really comfortable around their personal armed guards, which is essentially what they
I
are.
like these guys.
My favorite deaths are when the Blaze Matter account will report that a cop tragically died in pursuit of a suspect on foot. It's like, you mean he had a fucking heart attack?
Yes.
You mean he just blew a fucking aorta while asked to run for half a block?
Well, like
Playing on that,
everybody, like the resisting charge is such bullshit because like everybody's afraid of the police now because everybody except for like, 300-pound white guys that like work at the local mill that doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know that, but like, like an engineer isn't afraid of them, but everybody else, if the cop starts talking to you, go into like panic mode immediately. I actually, when we were touring in Virginia, we got pulled over and I fucking panicked because he'd been in the car vaping out of a PAX, which really fucking smells in the car.
it does.
And I was hauling ass down a hill and I got to 79 miles an hour. And it was a 70
You got
mile
to
an
88, you
hour.
could have gone back to
I know.
1955.
I wish I had.
Yeah.
This guy pulls me over, but I pull over on the wrong side of the road,
Oh,
like
fuck.
into the middle. He was like, pull over. And then he pulled me over, but he looked at me and he was like, this guy's like just a scared dad that like has never been pulled over before. And I was just sitting in the car like, I sure wish I hadn't done that. And then he let me, he fucking let us go.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. Fucking blue lives, motherfucking magic.
You just have to act scared of them. That's
Yeah.
how you deal with the police now. Is
Yeah.
when they
Oh,
show
yeah.
up, you act
You have to give
scared.
it like they want to see you submit to them.
Yeah.
Yes.
They want to be God for a minute. They want you to show them your belly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's all those. There's that kid in this happened a few years ago and it totally got forgotten. This kid in Miami, I believe, got like grabbed by the scruff by a cop and like planted on the pavement and arrested and roughed up because he gave him a quote hateful look.
Yeah.
That was the cop's testimony.
We had
that
a guy
he looked
here-
at him wrong.
We had a guy here that said the guy was talking shit to him and he was on the ground handcuffed. So the cop stomped on the back of his head and it was on camera. The video circulated and that guy's back on duty in the
awesome.
same neighborhood.
Oh, fantastic.
And he also had shot another guy. He pulled up. They do this summer policing program here where plainclothes police drive around in unmarked cars and try to bust drug
Oh,
dealers.
that goes well.
And they jumped out of the car, and this fucking guy took off running because he was like, these two guys are chasing me with fucking guns, and they shot him in the back. And this same cop also kicked the guy in the back of the head. He's like been a problem. Zach Rosen, people know his name in town, and he still works
Jesus
like he
Christ.
hasn't been in trouble yet. And it's
Fucking
I had to
hell.
quit going to my favorite New York style pizza place because they were raising money for that guy. I was like,
fuck off.
had a picture of him sitting on a horse with a black girl standing like next to the horse, like a little kid, and I was like, "What the fuck is this picture?"
He loves the community.
Yeah,
I love all the like every time that there's like a cop just like unloads a fucking bazooka into a child on a tricycle. There's just like a totally organic story where it's like a cop played a pickup basketball game with a child.
out of nowhere.
Look at this cop doing the shoot dance.
we have
with
a
bunch of
dancing
children.
cop
Cool,
here,
dude.
We have a Columbus
Yes, we
police
do.
cop now that's a dancing cop, and he goes to all the rap concerts and dances
Oh,
on
fuck
stage.
off.
He goes, they're like, hey, we got one of our boys in blues here tonight. He comes out and does the Dougie and shit. Everybody,
Oh, fuck off.
Have you guys seen the video of the FBI agent at the bar? Like he's like doing that. He's does a backflip and his gun falls out of his
yeah, that was
pocket
great.
and hits this poor woman.
And
like,
have you
oh
seen
my
the-
God.
more recently than the turned FBI agent? Have you guys seen it's been going around Twitter, the video of the Hort cop?
Yeah, Hort
where it's
cop.
just a cop in uniform at a club, just like taking his phone out, like just on the IG, just getting a video of just an ass. Just ass. going on. Yeah.
It's funny to see a guy in full uniform just doing that because her ass is like a foot in front of him.
Yeah.
He just puts his phone up. But it's like, that's such a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a horny guy. We're all horny guys.
Sure.
Just the urge to be in public, like, I got to get this ass.
Yeah, hey guys.
Well, the Vice thing.
Check out this onion booty I found.
It's like it's like this fucking cop sees the ass and he's like, this one's pretty great, but I know I'm not gonna be able to remember it. Like I stopped being able to remember things. Like last year, I don't know what happened.
Well, funny,
I need a blurry video. Fucking pervert.
if that cop gets in trouble though, and they show the video that someone else recorded of him recording someone's ass at the club, I guarantee you, his defense will be the same as the Van Dyke guy who just got found guilty of killing Laquan McDonald. His defense said, yes, we all saw the video of you just like this guy was clearly walking away or just like in no way lunging towards you from 10 yards away with a 3-inch knife. And you shot him like, I don't know, how many times?
16 times.
16 times?
Yes.
First of all, Van Dyke testified that he was shooting at the knife.
No.
Oh no.
He said he was trying to shoot
Like
it
they
out of his
trained you
hand
in
like
the academy.
like
Yes.
fucking
like the
Buffalo Bill or something.
They train you to on speed. The movie Speed.
Your Majesty, I actually have slow motion ability. I am able to go into bullet time. I call it cop mode.
You see,
I like
sir,
it,
I was curving the bullet as shown in the film Wanted.
yeah.
It's like
I mean-
that guy's such a shithead that he found a way to be convicted as a cop
I mean,
in Chicago.
seriously.
Well, I mean-
by a Cook County jury. You fucking idiot.
The only way that was sort of happened is because there was video of all of it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
even that is not a guarantee of anything.
No, not
It
at
hasn't
all.
been-
all.
And it only
Billion
got out
times
because of a
over.
reporter and an activist in Chicago got together to leak it and get it out there. It was going to be fucking buried forever. And we know for a fact that Rahm Emanuel kept it hidden for a year so that it wouldn't come out before his reelection. And that's probably, I think, why he's not circling another term, because he knows that that's still a time bomb. That if there's like a smoking gun proof that he held that back, he's going to blow up all over again, and it's just going to destroy his career. So he's trying to go out on top.
So yeah, we saw that video, right? And it's unarguable what happens on it.
Yeah.
However, in addition to him testifying that I was trying to shoot at the knife, his defense said to like the jury, like, yeah, you saw the video, but we are arguing that the video is irrelevant to the matter at hand because the video doesn't show what he saw from his perspective.
Oh, geez.
So the ass cop will just be like, yeah, that video of me filming that woman twerking in the club, you didn't see what I was seeing.
Yeah.
From my perspective, I was making an ocular assessment.
Those asses might have been filled with explosives. I need to.
I was
this.
looking for any identifying tattoos so that
Gang
I could report it to the
tattoos.
Vice
Yeah,
Squad.
exactly.
The horny thing that has been making me laugh lately is that, but right after that Stormy Daniels thing, it came out that the Columbus Police Department had been doing a long-term undercover sting on all the strip clubs in town. That was like
Just going to a strip club.
They would pay hundreds
Quality
of dollars.
control.
They would pay hundreds of dollars for fucking alcohol and lap dances. They would get a fucking taxpayer-funded trip to the strip club, at the end of which they get to arrest everyone.
Yeah.
Just disgusting.
Watch, Commander, I have tactically ascertained that I think several of the dancers actually like me as a person and not just a customer.
I got a shot at this.
Oh, goddamn.
She commented on how square my body was. I have created the perfect tactical square perfection so I can ascertain myself into my tactical Dodge Charger. Permission to bring an M249 SAW with Overwatch from A10 Warthogs over Mr. Titties.
Oh, my God. Fuck me.
6 fucking months investigating to see if strip clubs are giving hand jobs in the fucking back room.
And then, not only do you have this abuse of power vice crew, then they decide that they're going to do a literally politically motivated hit. These guys basically deputized them to Donald Trump and said, we're going to help you, Mr. President, because we love you so much. We're going to take this lying bitch who's getting you in trouble with her accusations, and we're going to fucking make her look less credible. So they literally just entrapped her so that they could discredit her allegations. That's just like a fucking, that is literal fashion.
He was naked.
I wonder, like, I would love to hear like how because they didn't really talk about how it all went down because in the Columbus Police Department, most police departments, they don't have to tell you shit.
No.
You know, when they arrest somebody, they don't have to make anything public. And I just don't even know how they got away with being like, we're going to go arrest Stormy Daniels, you know?
What a fucking idiot. What a fucking bunch of idiots.
Well, they
Good
don't even, it's
Lord.
because it's illegal here. There's like the strip club laws here are really like they're really specific. It's like you're not allowed to like put your finger on a nipple, and you're not, like they're like oddly specific. So I think that they were waiting to see one of these people trip up, and it didn't take much to arrest her. That was wild though. That was but
insane.
now
It was retaliatory, I think.
yeah.
Well,
100%.
I mean,
Absolutely.
if you're a vice cop, you have to be a Trump guy. Like it's 100% a Trump guy.
Think about that mindset. A vice cop is just like a guy who wanted to be a National Review bathroom sicko writer, but was somehow too stupid for that. He's like a guy who's obsessed with sickos. He's
Something
like,
in the
I'll do
neighborhood-
whatever it takes to find the sickos. I'll lick the bottom of the bathroom floor to trace the sickos. It's like, are you sure? You know, you're fine. You know, look within maybe. They spend all their time just being fucking tyrants, like extorting sex workers, just being the most piggish pieces of shit. And they're like, I'm doing it for, you know, my kids that I don't have, but, you know, God willing, one day. But
Yeah, no, absolute swine.
I don't think anybody. I do think like if you went around and asked like 100 people, 99 of them would say get rid of the vice squad on any police department because it's nothing. They provide zero service to anybody.
All right. So that is but an appetizer for our little taste of the Chapo Street Fight collab that will be happening Wednesday night here in Columbus, Ohio, at the Athenaeum Theater. Honestly, if you're in Columbus, if you were just in Ohio,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the center
you're in
city.
America.
It's equidistant.
It's 2
from,
hours.
Like,
Nowhere in
Either
Ohio
way.
is more than 2 hours away from Columbus.
So
Indianapolis can get here, too.
You gotta be lazy not to drive.
Yeah,
to
you
this, to
should
tell you
be
the
here.
truth. yeah,
I'm honestly disappointed if you don't come.
I drove to Cleveland last Monday to see a concert.
and
It's nothing.
I definitely hope that my old DSA Cincy peeps come out.
DSA Cincy, come out see your boy Matt.
I would like to say hi to all
It's
those
a bit.
guys.
It's a homecoming in a lot of ways because finally we are coming home to Street Fight to Columbus, Ohio, where it all started.
Time
Yeah.
is a flat circle.
Yep. So yeah, Brett and Bryan, it's great to be here with you.
Thanks for having
it'll be
us.
better to be with you on Wednesday night
Yeah.
live on stage.
hell yeah.
So tickets still available. The link for that will be in the show description, as well as the link for Free Darius Now
Hell
and
yes.
that fundraiser. Please, this guy does not deserve to be
No
in
way. No.
some sort of
100%.
mental
Cruel
psychiatric
system at
hospital
its
for the
most
rest of his
just
life.
Petty and cruel. Awful.
Diamond in the rough. We can use him.
So, without further ado, I now present to you Chapo Trap House presents Rod Dreher's The Exorcist, live in Pittsburgh. Okay, so I mentioned that in the second act of tonight's show, we would be returning to a member, an all-star of the Chapo mythos. Folks, I'm talking about Rod Dreher. How many of y'all like Rod Dreher? He's been, as Matt said, quiet lately, like the Golden State Killer.
Yes,
But wouldn't you know it, some Ancestry.com results revealed some interesting information.
Oh no.
No, that's not the
Okay,
basis
okay,
of this column. This is a Rod column that really takes you on a journey. It's really pretty special, and I'm thrilled to share it with you here tonight. This is from just earlier this week. The post at AmericanConservative.com is simply titled "Nathan's Story." Hard to tell where this one is going to go, but it really
My interest is piqued.
It really takes you there.
I really hope it was just that he was fooled by Nathan Fielder. I hope it begins and ends there, because I don't like the idea of him telling someone's life story.
Is it about bringing back Firefly? Nathan Fillion, maybe?
None of my co-hosts know what this is or where it's going, by the way. So I'm the only one.
You're watching us hear it for the first time.
Yeah, I'm the only one who possesses this secret Rod knowledge.
Well, I don't know about that.
Okay, this is how it begins.
What if Rod was one of us?
Just a sicko like one of us.
Just a stranger in the bathroom.
Just a stranger in the bang bus like the rest of us. Okay, it begins like this. I've had these two stories open on my browser for a few days now. I'm going to
I've
go...
been destroying my other hard drives.
One is in an incognito tab.
I'm going to go ahead and post them as a preface for something very strange. The first one is about a rash of cattle mutilation out in rural Arizona.
Oh, boy.
Yo, that's the most fucked up porn taste I have ever heard.
And he's quoting from this article. A cow and bull were both killed overnight, an ear cut off, a section of hide detached, the scrotum and penis carefully removed, the vaginal cavity gone, the blood drained.
He's just describing the operation of a slaughterhouse.
No discernible tracks were found near the carcasses, which were lying near an infrequently traveled road. Little blood was found on the ground, and the cow was wedged up into a tree as if trying to escape from something. By the way, I think the news site he's getting this from is cryptidfacts.com. No, it's actually from...
I'm sorry, we have to go back. Does he think that when they're scared, cows hide in trees?
It would certainly appear that way.
He is not from the Midwest.
He's from the South. He's from Louisiana.
Yeah, all he knows is gumbo.
Yeah, they were wedged up into a tree as if trying to escape from something. I mean, this is not Rod writing. This is not Rod writing, by the way. This is cryptidnewsandfactreport.com. In his decades of living in the scrubby pinyon juniper forests north of Williams, the 66-year-old Mahan has raised horses and small herds of cattle and seen animals killed by predators such as mountain lions and coyotes. He has witnessed scavengers such as ravens and vultures picking at carrion, but never has he witnessed the deliberate dismemberment he saw last week. For people to come out and purposely kill and mutilate an animal for their own pleasure is just unreal. It's sickening, he said, as he tucked his weather-beaten hands into his well-worn pockets. Okay, that's a little journalism where they're like trying to be a little too writerly there.
Yeah.
Well-worn pockets. Were your hands in his pockets? Perhaps they were very spiffy. You don't know.
This is a brand new selvage denim, City Slicker. This is why they have to stop making movies about journalists. Just this guy from the Hog Spit Press is just like, oh, I'm like the spotlight guy.
Especially since every time some pencil neck fucking journalist tries to describe any fucking white working class guy, they end up just describing a Tom of Finland painting.
I can't
his
believe
muscular hands and ripped biceps.
I can't believe somebody would torture and kill an animal for their own pleasure, he said, walking into Outback Steakhouse.
There was a twinge of sadness in the steelworker's voice, but elation, as he said, "We work hard, we play hard."
The state inspector who is investigating this said this isn't random. The people who were doing this, I would say, are professionals, he said. They know what they are doing.
Wait. Professional
mutilators.
Professional cow vagina removers?
Yeah, that's the Kansas City mob. That's the only thing they do anymore. I need a barrel full of cow pussies. You understand me?
You show up at the fucking bus station in downtown Kansas City, there's a guy in a trench coat going, wanna buy a cow pussy?
I just like that he's a mob boss is putting hits out on cattle and bulls.
I want that pussy on my desk by tomorrow morning.
Okay, So that's the first story that Rod had on his browser window. This is the second, and this is Rod again. The second item is this description of a new show coming up this month on Netflix, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, a darker take on the Archie Comics teenager witch character.
Oh, I should have known. I should have known.
He's doing the same. All right. I also know where this is going, but I'm going to let.
Okay. So now,
Oh, you're a fucking pro, Rob.
the chilling adventures of Sabrina, a darker take on the Archie Comics teenage witch character. Excerpt from a story about it. Now, this is the excerpt, not Rod. The series, which stars Kiernan Shipka, who played Don Draper's daughter on Mad Men, as the titular orphan daughter of a warlock and a human, begins with Sabrina Spellman's 16th birthday on the horizon, a milestone for witch kind, in which, like a demonic bat mitzvah, every witch or warlock must
a regular bat mitzvah.
Yeah.
That's what Rob editor notes.
Any other kind of bat mitzvah.
must participate in a ritual that includes signing your name in blood in Satan's autograph book.
So like a bat mitzvah.
And subsequently going off to what is essentially Hogwarts from hell. For Sabrina, however, the choice becomes a dilemma. She's half mortal, too, and while her father was a
How are you going to be half mortal? It's a binary fucking
Only half
concept.
dies.
Something either dies or it fucking doesn't.
So my mother was a mortal and my dad is a warlock. So I get my Eye of Newt at 7-Eleven.
I have mortal not in the literal sense of mortality, but in a way to categorize the non-magically inclined.
Yeah, see, this is race science. I don't approve of it.
Thank you, Witchfinder, Texas.
I think the concept's rather clear. I don't think you
The
need a
Field
Wikipedia
Sisters
to
would
sort
have a
this
day
one out,
with- would have
guys.
a field day with it.
So going on, it says, the new teaser certainly drives home the fact that this darker redo of the cheerful 90s sitcom Sabrina the Teenage Witch is coming from the makers of Riverdale. The dark streets, old-timey cars, and trio of cool girls in matching outfits all keep it in the same universe as the hit CW show. But now...
Isn't Riverdale just like softcore teen porn? Like gay porn?
Yeah.
It's gay porn.
But it's like dark Archie, essentially.
Yeah, dark Archie.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah, my man
guy
knows.
knows.
My man knows. He knows
we
about
have-
dark Archie.
That's what's up. Who watches Riverdale
It
in this
appears we
audience?
have some homosexuals in the
Everybody
house, my
swarm
friend.
him. Swarm him.
what do you
You're
think?
watching CW programming.
It's
So it
okay
says
if you're gay.
Rod calls it cheerful, but do you think Rod also approved of the 90s TGIF Sabrina the Teenage Witch? Because I highly doubt it. I would think he thought the idea of a talking cat was anti-biblical.
I'm sure Rod has an article that's like, but really, how can Clarissa explain it all?
So it says, just the end of the description of the CW says, but now Beelzebub is here in the 7-foot-tall angry goat flesh. And thankfully, animatronic Salem has been replaced by an actual cat. Hail Satan. Okay, this
Wait,
is...
how do they make an actual cat talk?
Okay, here's where we get
There's got
back...
to be CGI involved.
Here's where they get back to Rod's actual commentary. This is Rod breaking in. He goes, okay, the mainstreaming of Satanism in pop culture, whether you believe this has to do with spiritual realities or is merely symbolic, is undeniably culturally significant. The Guardian, being The Guardian, suspects that this new wave of pop occultism, of which Sabrina is but only one example, is a manifestation of the political.
Wait, what is his church?
He's an Orthodox.
He's an Orthodox Christian.
Aren't they supposed to not? I mean, like, my people believe that Satan is like walking around and buying a bus ticket. We have a very literal interpretation. But does this even fit? This is not canon for Orthodox people, is what I'm asking.
I wish I knew anything about the Orthodox Church.
I think, like, regardless what denomination Rod is or isn't, he's going to switch around a few more times. And it's
Yeah,
like,
he's a seeker.
Only thing
yeah, but he has a 19th century interpretation of Satan, which is like a mean guy who tricks you into being horny.
Yeah. You know what it is? He went on Tumblr And he found half of Bushwick reading tarot cards, and he's like, oh, this has got to stop.
Yeah.
The only thing I know
agree,
about the
but-
Greek Orthodox Church is that they do communion with euros, correct? Is that wrong?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's hard to worship in there because they keep all these exotic birds in the records.
There's just bird shit everywhere.
They have Jesus on the cross, but he's always turning under a heat lamp.
And when the priest is reading scripture, he's like, "Yeah, I want to be fucking crucified, dude."
I'm gonna skip over this Guardian article because it's basically just about how witchcraft and sort
It's
of
cool.
and witchiness is being adopted by young women as kind of a symbol of feminism and female power, et cetera, et
And
cetera.
also adherence to Satan, the Dark Lord, which is good and cool.
Just the last quote from this Guardian article says, "When you break society's conforming rules as young women are, you are punished. The witch is an icon to help young women be strong in the face of the pushback they get every day. So for me, these new shows are heartening. Yes, even the horror films." Okay. Now we're back to Rod. Those first two things that I just talked about, this is all a preamble to where this story is actually going. This is like the prologue
All right.
to this post.
Cool.
He goes, "Well, I agree with Harrington that the occult boom is a sign of the times. What it signifies is another matter, I'd say. Now, that's a setup for me to tell you about a strange telephone call I received yesterday."
Oh no!
What is this Grandpa Simpson-ass article? Where is it going?
Oh no! Someone called up and offered me the Time Life books on the occult. I think it was Beelzebub.
"I've hesitated about whether or not to blog about it.
Don't blog about it, dude.
Yeah, he is.
gonna
This
blog
man has
about it.
never hesitated before blogging about anything.
He's a poster.
The caller, an old friend from whom I hadn't heard in a decade or so, gave me permission to blog about it as long as I kept names and identifying details out of the story.
His name was Flan Floodoritz.
I loved 10 years. This is True Detective. It's getting the investigating duo back together to scour the AMC bathrooms.
So he goes, he said others may draw hope from it. He wasn't exactly sure why he felt the urge to call me about the matter, but he did. Background. Nathan, as I'll call my friend,
I forgot about Nathan. It's been so long since we even discussed Nathan. I completely lost the lead.
Amber, we need to talk about Nathan. Nathan,
I think they
here's
changed
the
the hot
background.
dog recipe. It's not as good as it used to be.
Here's the background. Nathan is a devout Catholic who lives in a major U.S. city and who works in a sophisticated professional milieu. He is in early middle age.
Everyone wears tuxedos to work every day.
He is in early middle age, a husband and a father. He and his family go to mass daily and
Jesus.
confession weekly.
Those
It's
people need to
impossible.
go to fucking
Okay.
jail. I'm sorry. You go to mass 2 days in a row and you go to a camp. I don't think that's too crazy to say.
Nobody goes to mass daily.
What are
That's-
you doing
that's
that you need
Felix's-
to go to mass daily?
That's Felix's me and my cousin character. Yo, we went to mass daily.
Yo, we won this contest where we can go into any mass free for the rest of our lives. Awesome.
Okay.
If you went to a mass daily, you would have to skip a major meal. You would,
Yeah, dude, we got to fuck Kate Upton's nephew.
Okay, guys, that's the background. This is all the preamble. Are you ready for this turn? Here's where he drops it.
Yeah! Are my pockets ready?
Nathan started his story with a jaw-dropping line. "For the past year, my wife has been under the care of an exorcist."
Yes!
he never disappoints.
You know what? I've never had that particular fetish, but I get it.
Under the
Have you considered Lancaster Marin, Father Rod?
Do you think that
He's
she?
just being cucked by some guy that wears vest rinse for their fucking...
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what are the odds that she's like, oh, honey, I would love to go, but I have to see my exorcist. I have to go on a cruise with my exorcist. He thinks that the ocean will draw Satan out of me.
My wife's exorcist, John Redcorn.
Okay. I don't know Nathan's wife as well as I know him,
Well, have you tried putting on a habit or something?
but I can tell you that she is worldly and sophisticated, even as she is devout.
She's worldly, all right.
She is one of the last people you would imagine having a problem like this.
You know what?
can't
It
believe-
doesn't sound like a problem. Sounds like she's having a great time.
I can't believe I got possessed. I got 1600s on my SATs. Like, I love, like, that only bad people get possessed. It's very Protestant.
Which one of us is the least likely to be possessed? It's not Will. It's not Amber. It might be me or Matt, I think. Or Felix. I don't know.
No, it's definitely.
I think it's probably you. You would probably annoy the demon too much.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
You would shit it out.
No,
you would
I
get
would,
diarrhea and shit it out.
Can you imagine?
But I think Will is the most likely to be possessed,
Why?
honestly. I don't know.
Look at you, you're so open.
Because you're a
inviting.
curious man, I think. you would be, when we're on this tour, I guarantee you're going to go to some antique store and purchase a strange lamp or vial and just be like, oh, that's cool. I just drink it.
Yeah, you're the nicest guy and you like antiques.
I feel like Virgil, like, he would get possessed, but the demon would, like, his internal monologue would defeat the demon. Like, all right, we need our living room water. That's got to be a different consistency than the bedroom water, because you're in a different...
Oh, Jesus is the Prince of Lies. Nice ad hominem. Why don't you try some facts?
Yeah, Satan is just like, fuck this, man.
Pazuzu shows back up in hell, and Satan's like, you were supposed to be possessing that guy for a longer time. He's like, yeah, I can't spend that much time in the bathroom, man.
Okay, let's get back to Dreher's friend's wife getting plowed by a guy in a bishop's hat.
Okay, Nathan told me the story of how things came to this point. I won't give you too many details out of an abundance of caution. Is he holding a flashlight under his chin when he's writing this?
It was on a night just like this one.
This is the worst meeting of the Midnight Society.
So it goes, it turns out that his wife had an eating disorder as a teenager and tried to kill herself twice back then. Now, in the middle of her life, depression returned, but with certain strange characteristics that seemed
Yeah, maybe because you go to mass every day, you fucking freak.
He says, now in the middle of her life, this is what I love so much, like just imagining what this marriage must be like. And he goes, now in the middle of her life, depression returned, but with certain strange characteristics that seemed off. She began to despise religious things in an inexplicable way. Again, he said they go to mass daily. What fucking sane person wouldn't get sick of that shit?
I mean, like, I'm entirely sick of the fucking Marvel movies, and I see like 3 of those a year. You imagine if you had to watch like an
is the
Ant-Man movie
exact-
every fucking day.
Which is the exact number of times you should go to mass.
Yes.
3 times a year.
You don't have to go to mass daily. There's no instruction to do that. Like twice a week is crazy.
No, I think James Joyce used that as like a footnote for someone who is an extreme Irish nationalist.
You don't
So
get.
unless you're in like an occupied territory, there's no reason to go to that much church.
I'm pretty sure you don't get extra grace for going to mass every day.
No,
I mean,
you're not
like-
going to go to
yeah,
a
you get
better
to-
heaven.
no, you get
it's
to
not
go-
like there's frequent flyer miles.
No, you get to go to the mezzanine section of heaven with the free open bar, like in here.
Can you
You're Catholics,
imagine?
it's all open bar.
Can you fucking imagine what their marriage is like? Like, I cannot believe. she's
You're gonna
depressed.
find out, by the way, guys. There's a lot. There's a lot more of this to go. So like,
All right.
I got to get through this. So she goes, when she went to a quote healing mass, there was a manifestation that indicated something dark and alien was at work in her. Catholic exorcists today work in a professional way. Let me finish. ruling out all other medical possibilities to explain the behavior before they start. The exorcism of Nathan's wife has not been a single event, but has required multiple sessions, which are still going on.
Yeah, Daddy.
The Exorcism of Nathan's Wife. That's a good porno name, by the way.
Nathan has been part of the rituals. He
watches and cries in the corner.
He told me that 8 different spirits have manifested themselves through his wife.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Damn, girl.
Yeah, a strange being possessed my wife and told me that she wanted me to make her come once.
8 different spirits have manifested themselves through his wife. He's been at this long enough now to discern which one is which. They revealed through the rituals that they entered into his wife's family through her grandfather, who was involved with the occult in a ritualistic way.
I hate it when my family brings their work home.
I love it when I just get shit-faced to watch Hereditary and then call Rod Dreher and crying.
But going back, when he says Catholic exorcists are professional, there's no such thing as a Catholic exorcist, right? Because they have formally denounced exorcism now.
They have not.
Still do it.
They have not?
They have
still
not.
do it.
Oh my God, get on that shit.
No, they still do it. They still do it. And I like to imagine...
Don't make American evangelical Protestants look modern.
No, but like I said, no, it's more professional. It's like you show up and it's like that Looney Tunes cartoon. You and the demon both punch in and say, "Morning, Sam, morning, Beelzebub."
Yeah.
Very professional.
Okay. Nathan said that depending on which evil spirit manifests in a particular moment, his wife's face... Sorry.
There's Julio, there's Dino, there's Patrick.
I need to finish this. He says, Nathan said that depending on which evil spirit manifests in a particular moment, his wife's face contorts into expressions that he has never seen in her, despite their nearly 2 decades of marriage.
Yeah, she's smiling. She's smiling. She's not grimacing all the time.
This is literally just describing being married to Robin Williams.
This is the worst thing.
This is like every fucking day, this poor woman has had to go downstairs and her husband has his back facing her and reading her the options for breakfast in Latin. This is just like, I wonder if anything about the marriage has her depressed. No, it's got to be the 8 demons.
She's basically doing like some sort of demonic fucking improv show. It's like I need one of the kings of hell and a profession.
Mind you,
all right, if you're going to be in the audience, don't try to take away from the show.
Remember, it's yes and.
Mind you, Nathan is one of the least woo-woo friends I have.
Yeah, goes to church every day of his life.
Again, he works as what you might call a symbolic analyst in a very worldly occupation and lives in one of the biggest... I don't know what the fuck that is.
Advertising? I think that's advertising, right?
So he goes...
Wait, he identifies shapes and colors. Triangle, square, circle, another circle.
This guy's totally
rectangle.
normal.
He goes
to church at 5 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. It's just him and Benito Mussolini's grandmother.
So he goes... he has been a faithful Catholic for as long as I've known, but not especially interested in that mystical side of the faith. Once you've seen reality through the eyes of spiritual warfare, he told me yesterday, you can't go back. It's everywhere. Okay, here we go. He told me other detailed stories, including accounts of bizarre poltergeisty things happening in their apartment, and his wife being unable to stand the presence of blessed objects. And then in parentheses, a classic sign of possession.
Yeah, I mean, I brought home General Franco's skeleton for us to worship, and she hated it. This bitch is possessed.
Again, readers, if you knew these people, Nathan and his wife, you would be even more shocked by all of this than you are now. This is the kind of family that takes European vacations and lives a sophisticated cosmopolitan life.
The Vatican is in Europe.
Yeah. This is the family who goes to Lourdes.
And yet, this horror has overtaken them.
Don't call her that. She's got needs.
The wife goes through periods in which she hears foul blasphemies and feels compelled to commit suicide. In the exorcism sessions, Nathan says the demons under compulsion from the exorcist speak of these things, in particular, how they intend to destroy Nathan's wife and her family life.
You know, far be it from me to endorse the Episcopalians, but maybe it's time to take a step down to a lower church.
Just like anything. Like,
Literally anything.
Just be a
whatever.
Be a fucking Unitarian. Like, I make fun of them, but like, it's nice to like, give blankets to poor people or whatever they do.
Yeah,
not
at least
like this.
At least they're probably coming,
Yeah. Like, the worst thing Unitarians do is like be on real sex
Poor
episodes.
people. Yeah.
This is awful.
When will she be free of them? The Exorcist can't say. The fight continues in regular sessions. In our long phone conversation yesterday...
Sometimes 3 sessions a day.
In our long phone conversation yesterday, Nathan says that this ordeal has taught him about the power of prayer and the church's weapons against these things. He knows that his wife is not his enemy, despite the things that sometimes come out of her mouth, and he is resolved to hold firm, to fight for her through his prayers, and to help her be free of these malicious, intelligent spirits. I like the idea that there's just malicious, dumb spirits fucking with people.
Yo, boo! Yeah, they possessed my wife, and she kept saying things like, yo, if I win the lottery, first thing I'm doing is buying a fucking limo and showing up to my old high school.
Nathan is the sort of man who would have been played by Jimmy Stewart or Jack Lemmon in a 1950s movie. Gosh, my wife keeps getting fucked by a demon.
Can you imagine that? That's the worst movie ever made. The Man Who Loved Church. Awesome, dude.
Let me tell you right now, my wife, she can fit so many evil spirits inside of her, you don't even know. This wife here, you can put 15, 20 evil demons inside of her. It's amazing. Please buy her, please.
He told me that having entered into this world, he has learned that more and more ordinary people like him and his wife are turning to exorcists.
That's a good sign for a society, I think.
Oh, this poor
Like, if you want to talk, like just like a gauge for how you're doing as a civilization, how many people are consulting exorcists? Seems like a good, short.
He has come to see the demonic attacks on marriage and family are increasing, and he wants people to know there is hope. But laying claim to that hope requires recognizing the nature of the battle. I don't know how I would do if I were in a situation in which I would be lying in bed at night and my wife blurted out, "I hate you."
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I can't imagine a world where my wife yells, "I hate you," instead of just muttering it quietly.
Oh my God.
Oh,
This is the worst thing you. Oh my God.
Word from the wise: just pretend to be asleep.
Oh my God. This poor
goes,
fucking woman.
That must be a demon. Who else could it be?
I imagine you're lying in bed at night and your wife blurts out, "I hate you," and then started growling in an otherworldly voice. That's Nathan's reality now.
That sounds like
This
a
is,
pitch.
by the way, supposed to be a hopeful message.
That sounds like a pitch for a CBS sitcom. If he's a good church-going man, she's possessed by a demon.
If she is like, depressed and obviously tremendously resents her Catholic psycho husband, if she's like as a gag, like, why don't I just pretend to be possessed and growl at him? She fucking rocks. Like, this woman fucking rocks.
Yeah.
Coming to CBS this fall, my wife, the Legion. By the way, I love that. Okay, he's lying. Okay, imagine this. You're lying in bed in the middle of the night. Out of nowhere, your wife blurts out, "I hate you," and then starts growling. I think what he interprets as growling is just the sound of her vibrator. She starts humming in a weird frequency that's...
She's possessed by 8 demons, the worst of which is named Hitachi.
We're making fun of these people, but I don't know. They seem like they're really enjoying life, though. They're basically living in a D&D game. Just coming back from the supermarket saying, "Oh, I think my bag boy was a drow."
That's Nathan's reality now.
Wah.
He is not afraid.
Wait a minute.
Record scratch.
Does this ever come back to the horse vaginas?
No.
The cow vaginas, rather.
Oh, you know, you ever do that? You accidentally like paste the URL of something you're jacking off to.
Because I honestly don't. I mean, I'm assuming he's claiming that these cow dissections are satanic rituals.
Yeah, what he's saying and with the prologue is that like there's just a rise in occultism and demonic activity.
I'm sorry, but cattle mutilations are not the work of Satanists. They are UFOs. Everyone fucking knows this. Cattle mutilations are classic fucking alien activity. Listen to fucking Art Bell once.
There is a hard fantasy sci-fi divide in this podcast.
Seriously. Yes, it's a sci-fi versus fantasy world. And everyone knows that cattle mutilations are aliens, not fucking Satanists.
Why do aliens want to mutilate cows?
Look,
Qui bono.
They don't move that quickly, and aliens are lazy.
As always, the true synthesis of these two belief systems is Halo.
Oh no.
Where the aliens are real, but they're very religious, and are in fact named the Covenant.
I accept that.
Satanist aliens, you've got it.
There you go. We did
Cracked it wide open, Pollock.
Felix is the best Marxist among us.
I'm just a deal maker. I love making deals. I just made one.
That's what sublation is, just making deals.
Yeah.
That was his NAFTA renegotiation. Okay, so wait, sidebar. He renamed the NAFTA. Did you see this? He renegotiated NAFTA. It's a good deal. However, he renamed it the U.S., Mexico, Canada, and he didn't say deal, but you know that he wanted to. Agreement. He said the U.S., Mexico, Canada agreement because North American Free Trade Agreement was too bulky. He just had to list every country that was involved because he forgot. And you know he wanted to say deal.
Well, I mean...
Wait, hang on. Canada, U.S., Mexico, the cum agreement.
He did an acrostic.
Okay, back to Nathan. This is Nathan's reality now, and he is not afraid. He has to play
He's clearly afraid, and he should be.
Yeah, if he's not... He's either terrified or full of shit.
Yeah, imagine not being afraid.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, there are 8 demons and my wife who sleeps next to me every night, but I'm not afraid. Buddy, you don't really think there are 8 demons living next to you every night.
Yeah.
So
You're
he
just
goes-
rationalizing getting cucked.
He has to play his part in rescuing his tormented wife. Dude, just give her a divorce if you want to fucking rescue her from her torment. For the
I'm
love
pretty
of
sure
God.
Even the Catholic
Let this
Church
woman
would allow it
be.
at that point.
Who I should say, this is great. This is a great line from Rod. He has to play his part in rescuing his tormented wife, who, I should say, fully consents to the exorcism. She wants to be free of this too. That's the first time Rod has ever taken the idea of consent seriously.
That sounds like one of those poly couples where the guy's like, yeah, my wife is totally into it.
What Nathan's wife is going through now is like what director William Friedkin, a non-Christian, witnessed and filmed in his recent documentary, The Devil and Father Amorth. Okay, he goes on to talk about this new William Friedkin documentary. I mean, I'm a big fan of The Exorcist.
Devil and Father Jones.
It's a great movie. So he basically just goes on here to...
I got another letter from a friend of mine who met the devil when he went down to Georgia and challenged him to a fiddle contest.
Hang on, really quick. In this whole article, Rod vouching for Nathan's credibility has just been, oh, this is a guy I am with sometimes, and he called me on the telephone.
After 10 years of no contact.
And and this really just shows how American he is. His real vouching is he works with symbols. So he can't just be a crank.
Yeah, ampersand, percent sign, pound sign, even sometimes a euro sign.
That circle with the line through it that indicates you shouldn't do something?
Yo, my friend invented the tilde key. I love how Rod responds to like any stimulus at all. Like that's really like only child magic. I mean, I know he's not an only child, but it's like just anything he's given, he's able to create worlds. Like, if you showed him Kingdom Hearts, can you imagine what he would do? The walls are breaking down. Goofy has met Sephiroth. Satan is on Earth. Like, just anything would drive him insane. He's so awesome.
So, that is the story of Nathan and his wife. However, if you're a fan of Rod Dreher like I am, you know the real gems are in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
First comment, your mother sucks cock in hell.
These are the sweetmeats. You know, it's like a Rod column is like a steak or like a fucking like a pork shank or something, and then this is like the fucking the thyroid.
These are the people who write him letters and call him on the telephone in the middle of the night to be like, Rod, my wife is fucking the devil. Okay, I want to read this comment. The encounter I'm about to describe happened 6 years ago.
Oh, boy.
I'm disabled and can't drive any longer.
Okay.
I rely on friends and paratransit for the disabled to get around. But 6 years ago, I still took the bus fairly often. A driver was moved from another route to the one I used most often. There was an intangible coldness to the woman which I cannot recall ever having been in the presence of before.
Okay.
This bus driver did not smile at me at all. She did not tell me to have a good day.
I tried thanking her numerous times.
I tried hailing her numerous times, and she gave me nothing. Okay, so he goes, and she enjoyed driving half a block past a waiting rider or stopping half a block short, particularly in winter weather, and most of all, if the waiting passenger was obviously limited in mobility.
That's a classic demon move. That's you know that's a demon.
I like how a report of demonic activity is just a shitty Yelp review for these people.
I experienced a horrible encounter while in middle school. A young man slapped all the books out of my hand.
God damn, imagine how many demons John Podera's encounters on a daily basis. My Schnippers order was half an hour late. Clearly the work of Beelzebub.
So she goes, I mentioned her to one of the paratransit drivers who looked at me with dread on her face. She told me that Frida, no kidding, was president of the local drivers union,
yeah,
and that people were afraid of her.
There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
We love Frida.
If you're a member of a union, you might be possessed by the devil. If you go a half a block past the stop when you're driving a bus, you might be possessed by the devil.
Any working class hero is now automatically a demon. A surly bus driver who's not kissing your ass is now a demon.
Yeah.
God bless this woman.
This kid who works at McDonald's jacked off in a cop's Big Mac. He must be possessed by the devil.
I just like the idea of a bus with a sign at the front that just says, "Do not accuse the driver of being possessed by a demon." So it goes here. One day, I tried a little test on Frida.
I threw holy water at her, and she laid me the
No, ever. I tried a little test on Frida. Before I went for the bus, I took down a wall crucifix and placed it in the inner pocket of my jacket. My trip to Walmart was uneventful.
crosses that's like 2 feet high and has a sad Jesus.
It looks
on
like she's carrying a
smoking at
sawed-off
it.
shotgun under her like bubble goose jacket. So it goes here. No convulsions or shrieks from Frida. However, when the bus returned and I boarded to go home, Frida seemed incapacitated. She sat behind the wheel as though in a trance, and her eyes shut and head moving back and forth. This woman, whom I never noticed a human emotion, was moaning as though she was in agony. I know it's anecdotal. People can dismiss it.
Yeah, sure.
Here's the best part. I know it's anecdotal. People can dismiss it. Perhaps she'd just been assailed by menstrual cramps.
Oh, I love Catholics. I love them.
That's very accurate because that is literally how the idea of exorcism began. It was women on their fucking period.
It do be like that, though.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Don't be the lie.
It could have just been menstrual cramps. But I wonder. Last, I recommend.
Can we like find this bitch and like buy her a big present or something?
Critical support for Frida.
Last, I recommend Hostage to the Devil by Malachi Martin. It's the hardest book emotionally and spiritually I have ever read. If you lack confidence in Jesus Christ, it's probably best that you avoid it.
There's been so much Catholic magic in the past month, like Supreme Court, Conor
Let's
McGregor.
find Frida.
But this is why I love Catholics, because like they like evangelicals, like they're like, oh, we have to adapt to the modern world, and they're like, we made our church an app, but like Catholics try to live in the modern world and just like fit all their dumbass concepts in there, and just hearing them like go about their day and encounter like people who don't like them and be like, Satan, and like see somebody with jam on their hands. Oh, dude, fucking, he's getting stigmata. There you go.
Yeah. Getting mad, making a face after you receive a 5% tip. That's the work of Satan. No, this gives me like a deep, visceral sympathy for Frida, because it just makes me think of the last real job I had before I became a podcaster, which was I worked at Barnes and Noble, and before I got moved to the info desk, which I was very good at and I actually kind of enjoyed, I was at the cash register for hours, and I would get so bored and frustrated that I would slowly just kind of lose it. And by like hour 3 or 4, I would just be almost vibrating with frustration that I was there. And I would just be like, just angry, and I would just have to like consciously suppress my desire to just scream about how awful this was. Just standing here and doing the same thing. It's like, it was the worst job in the world because it was a combination of the mundane sort of factory reality of like working on an assembly line, and then like having to smile at people at like having a customer service job. It was the worst of both worlds. And I just imagine if doing that, somebody would come up to me and started flicking holy water at my face. I don't think I would have reacted well.
When I was thinking, like, this week, I was talking about, like, different, like, dumb liar guys with my friends, and I was thinking about this guy who, at my old job of being a bouncer, who he would come to, when I would bounce in the back near the bathroom, he would just hang out there, and he was, like, the type of, like, dumb liar guy who, like, befriends the management of a bar, so you, like, really can't tell him to fuck off.
What's wrong with that? That's cool.
And he would just, like...
You get free drinks.
Every time.
Yeah, he's literally disrupted being a bar patron.
Yeah, he's awesome. But every time a woman would walk by, he'd be like, yeah, I fucked her.
Except it's, yeah, she's Satan.
No, there was one time, the most distinct memory I have of him is this woman like said, oh, you know, hi, whatever the fuck this guy's name was. And when she was out of earshot, he goes, yeah, dude, I almost fucked her, but then my friend texted me that she had herpes and I just left. And it's great because you know that story's a lie. Like, why would you lie about that? But it was just 6-7 hours of a time, these like mind-numbing interactions. And yeah, I would just stare at one point on like a outlet plug for 5 hours, just being like,
This is
no, you can't
Felix's-
kill yourself just because you feel like this now. There's like the rest of your life.
This is Felix's version of once I had a job.
It's been a while.
I had this idea the other day. We all love Rod, and we all love We all love Rod, and we all love the letters that people write to Rod that he includes as postscripts
The real Rod
on
has.
his articles. And I wanted to do this kind of long-term troll where I would endear myself to Rod by just writing him an email saying, oh, I'm a good Catholic. I go to Mass 24/7. I live in Mass. And, I just got some issues going on. And basically just write him inane letters that seem plausible. And I mean, like, most of these don't seem plausible. And just eventually it devolves and just starts including quotations from Chairman Mao. And I would encourage all of you to just do that. Everybody, if you have some free time, just befriend Rod.
Oh,
just tell him
totally.
what's on your mind, but make everything magical, Like, you're really mad at your boss, but your boss is secret gremlin. Why not?
All right, guys. That was William Menaker presents Chapo Trap House, The Exorcist, starring Rod Dreher and Nathan. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That is it for us tonight. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Pittsburgh, you guys fucking rock. We are Chapo Trap House. Thank you guys so much. Cheers, everybody. Good night.